See, let me tell you something. One of the things that is so critical when the season is challenging, write this down, is that you have to embrace your reality. It's your reality. And folks, see, we have to be careful because even myself, I've been guilty of trying to tell folk how I thought they ought to handle certain seasons in their life. See, some folk handle things differently. How many folk know what I'm talking about? You can be in the same bloodline. You can live under the same roof. Everybody doesn't handle. Embrace your reality and don't let anybody try to diminish what you are experiencing, because in order to deal with the challenging nature, right, you got to confront your pain. Confront it. Confront your pain. Somebody repeat after me. Confront your pain. See, truth be told, you can act like it isn't what it is. And as long as you keep acting like it isn't, it's going to build up on you. How many folks have ever let things build up? How many folks tried to act like everything was okay? And what you kept doing in your life was sweeping stuff under the rug. And about 10 years later, a powder keg exploded. You exploded on the wrong person. They were suffering because of the 10 years of issues you had, and all of a sudden it went bang. You got to confront your reality, but then also process the experience. What is it? God doesn't waste any pain. God doesn't waste any situations. God doesn't waste any experience, even the hard things. Process it. What is it that God really wants you to learn from what you're going through? Because let me tell you something. One of the things that I have learned, especially when you deal with death quite frequently, is you better thank God for every day you get. Is there anybody who's grateful for this day? Anybody grateful for God's grace this day? Anybody grateful for God's mercy this day? Because see, you can't go and upend Saturdays, but what you can do is take an appreciative look at all of the see, I'm telling you, today is still the best day in your life. In fact, point at somebody. You know, this season is when you have to do a lot of talking to each other. Point at somebody and tell them today is still the best day in your life. Point at somebody else. That's the only time they're going to let you point in their face. Today. Process the challenges, but then as you process, let God give birth to something positive. Because if you desire to see something positive, you can experience something positive. The scripture is still true. As a man or woman thinketh in their heart, so is he or she. And I'm here to let you know that sometimes challenging situations can look better if you just change your mind. Sometimes the hard places can actually become places of blessing if you let God do some redirection in the midst. How many folks have ever seen God do some redirection in the midst of a hard place? And what you thought was going to be something totally miserable, you actually saw God do something miraculous, because God has a way of putting his super in some natural situations. And what we thought were going to be to our destruction, God actually used to propel us to our place of destiny. But you got to change your mind about how you look at it. But then also, if you're in a challenging place, embracing your reality means have your moment. Have your moment. But notice the word is moment. Pitch a tent in your moment. Don't build a brick house. Because see, that's some of our problems. It's even been some of our problems. Some of us have built a brick house on the pain of the past, and instead of looking ahead at what God has for us, we keep looking back at the brick house. And Paul keep telling us every time we read it, forgetting those things which are behind. But instead of forgetting, we keep looking at the brick monument instead of sitting there and sending some spiritual dynamite to blow it up and to learn and to keep on forgetting those things which are behind and reaching for those things that are in our press toward the mark for the prize. But have your moment. Don't let anybody take your moment away. If you need to ugly cry, ugly cry. If you need not to talk to somebody for 30 minutes, just get in the corner and don't talk to nobody. Let me tell you something. My first Thanksgiving after my mother had passed away, that was our favorite holiday. And we were sitting, when I lived in the fraternity house, whole family was there. We were sitting at the dining room table eating, and they were reflecting and sharing stories, and all of a sudden I just began to ugly cry. Y'all know what ugly crying is? When you heave and stuff starts coming out your nose and things. It was ugly crying. And then my aunt, she reached for my plate. She was going to move. I said, no, don't do that now. I was just having a moment. How many folk know what I'm talking about in here? I got my plate just right. But that's what you do in life. Have your moment, but then grip the reality and keep on going.